Welcome everyone. Today's topic is virtual live property tour in West Garfield Park. Okay, so we got this property from a wholesaler. They're asking $85,000. So the question is, deal, no deal? Okay, so what are the things that you need to look at when analyzing a property? Let's just quickly, without looking at any systems, any pictures, nothing, let's just understand what's important when analyzing a property. First of all, you need to know what exit strategy am I gonna take, okay? You only have three options. You either wholesale, fix and flip, or buy and hold, okay? Because, why is that so important? It's super important because based on your exit strategy will determine how much you pay for the property, okay? It's hugely important. Second of all, location, 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 okay? So location is gonna be critical even before we take a look at the property, okay? So if you're given this property, fine, we're gonna take a look inside the property, but before even we do that, we need to understand the neighborhood, the market around it, and most importantly, does the market or neighborhood support our exit strategy, okay? Just a quick overview on exit strategies. Wholesale is the quickest and easiest, right? So that's when you can make a quick paycheck. The next better one is a fix and flip, but obviously right now due to the crisis, things are not moving. So fix and flip would be very risky. And then the true wealth in real estate is through owning rentals. So buy and hold. Having said that, let's take a deep dive into it. So as I said, before even you look at the property, what is it that you need to understand? What exit strategy are you gonna take? So I'm gonna tell you how the pros think, okay? Ideally, they're gonna think wealth. How can I increase my net worth? So I wanna keep it as a rental, but does it make sense to keep it as a rental? If not, I wanna be able to fix the property and sell it. So meaning flip it. Therefore, I really need to pay the fix and flip price, because guess what? When you pay for a property and you're gonna buy and hold the property, you can afford to pay a little bit more. However, when you're gonna do a flip, guess what? You don't have much room for error. Therefore, you've got to pay a little bit less. And obviously, if you're gonna wholesale the property, you need to leave meeting the bond for the flipper or the investor who's gonna hold it for rental. Does that make sense? So having said that, you need to understand three numbers, okay? Three numbers, and then we're gonna look into the market and the neighborhood. Before we dive into the neighborhood, what are the three numbers that you need to know? And not only you need to know those numbers, you need to nail them, okay? With 5 to 10% for error, okay? So what are the three numbers that you need to know? Number one, after repair value. Number two, rehab estimate. And number three, how much you're gonna pay for the property, okay? So we're gonna get those three numbers absolutely correct for our analysis. Now, there are rules of thumb that I'm gonna give you, so you don't even need a calculator. It is so simple. So for instance, let me just tell you, you're gonna take, if they say this property is for sale for $85,000, guess what? Right off the bat, you need to add $75,000 to $100,000 on top of that property, plus so that would be $185,000. So this property needs to appraise for at least $185,000. Okay. Now that is with the assumption that the property needs a light to medium rehab, okay? So what's a light to medium rehab? It's less than $40,000, that's simple. So again, friends, when you're given a price, asking price, let's say for X property, you can buy it for $100,000. Right off the bat, that property needs to appraise for $200,000. And you need to do less than $40,000 in rehab. If that meets the criteria, guess what? It's worth diving deeper into the analysis. If it's not, forget it. Let me give you an example. If they're selling a property for $100,000 and the ARV is 150,000, there's no way it makes sense for anything. Okay, you don't have enough meat in the bone, because once you close, you rehab the property, you're gonna go way over budget. The numbers are not gonna work. Okay, now that is the first rule of thumb, that from your purchase price you need 75 to 100,000. The second rule of thumb is the 1% rule of thumb. What does that mean? If you buy the property, let's say for 85,000, you need to collect at least 1% of that in rent, so 850. Okay, so having said that, keeping those numbers in mind, let's take a deep dive. So before, when somebody presents a deal to you, West Garfield Park, before you look at the property, before you drive by, you need to understand the market. Okay, so as the pros think, we're gonna try to do a buy and hold or a fix and flip on this property to see if it makes sense. So the first thing that we're gonna do is look at the market, okay? Does it make sense for any of those approaches? Will it be supported? So the first thing that we're gonna do is open up DealVault and then go to the area reports, okay? So in here, I'm gonna look for West Garfield. Okay, so this is the neighborhood, the area right here. Okay, so let's take a quick look. First of all, right here on this summary, it's a D area. Okay, approach cash flow, livability score, it's 57. Okay, it's pretty low. Typically, B markets start at 65. In fact, 75 livability score, so 57 is quite low. Okay, median income, 22,000. The median income in Illinois is about 67,000 per household, so it is super, super low. And then the sweet spot, I'm gonna go to this column, sweet spot to buy a single family home, it's 85,000. It's exactly how much the wholesaler is asking for this property, 85,000. Okay, now let's look at the rents. Median rental income, 1,000. So now let me take you into a more detailed overview of the neighborhood, okay? So first of all, we're gonna look at West Garfield Park. So this is the geographic location, okay, of West Garfield Park. Now, we are going to look at the area in a nutshell, okay? So crime is pretty high. Anything that you see F, it's not good, okay? So crime is high. There's not enough sources of employment in West Garfield Park. Schools are not the best, okay? So if we scroll down, we're gonna go into more details, but as you can see, the red line is the crime, so it's way above the average, the crime in West Garfield Park. This is the heat map, okay, for the crime. So this is where you identify pockets of crime. So the red area means that it's pretty dangerous, not so safe, compared to the green. The green is okay. So West Garfield Park overall, it's not the best neighborhood, okay, in terms of safety. Schools, yeah, schools are not the best. Household income is way below the average. So it's 32,000 versus 78 in Illinois. Now, population growth is negative 13%, so people are going away. Now, let's take a look at things that are gonna impact if you buy and hold the property and if you flip it. So when you buy and hold the property, what is it that you care about? You care about vacancies, you care about rents. How long is the property gonna stay in the market? Let's quickly take a look at that. Vacancy, vacant housing units, it's 24%. It is extremely high. Typically, anything above 10% is way too high. This is 24%. Now, how long do they stay in the market? I'm gonna scroll down to the rental analysis. So right here, average market time, it's about 38 days. The rents are low, okay? So for a 2-bedroom is 900, for a 3-bedroom, about 1,000. So this is the breakdown of the rents, okay? So most fall below 1,500, depending on the size of the property. So it's between 900 and 1,100 is the mean. And they tend to stay in the market for about a month, month and a half, okay? But you can end up with a vacancy of 2 to 3 months. So that's something to be aware of. Now, if you want to flip the property, I want to find out if Garfield supports a flipping market. So the first thing that we're going to look at right here, detached, I'm going to go to the column all the way to the right, and then I'm going to look at months of housing supply. This determines if it's a great flipping market. So what it means is that it's going to take about 8 months before we run out of inventory that is active for sale. So it's way too high. A great flipping market gives you 2.5, 2.5 months or less. What it means is, assuming there are no new properties coming in the market for sale, that all the inventory is going to run out in 2.5 months. That's a great flipping market. 2.5 months or less. That means properties are selling so fast. Here, 7.8 months. So there's tons of inventory. So if I scroll to the bottom, I want to see how many flips are happening. 2. So it is not a flipping market. Now, average sold market time, 138 days. So if you decide to do a flip on a property, it's going to take about 5 months or so, just market time. So for sure, it's not a flipping market. It's more rental market. But the only thing that you need to be aware of is vacancy. Not only that, but you need to make sure that you have collectible tenants. So this is a very risky proposition. So, but at least the first thing is to understand the area. Now, let's take a look at the property. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a power search on the property. So what it does is it's going to find any records, MLS, off market, anything that there is to know about this property. Okay, so right here, West Garfield Park, we found the property. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath. And then we're going to give you the numbers. But before you dive into the numbers, location, location, location. Okay, so the first thing that you need to look at is, where is this located? Is this on a busy street, near a cemetery, train tracks, airports, highways, factors that are going to affect your property value? No, so it's okay. I'm going to click on the street view to take a quick look at the neighborhood, okay? So if you see a lot of vacant lots and boarded up houses, is not a good sign, okay? So here we're gonna see a lot of vacant lots or land, okay? So you can just walk the neighborhood, but overall there are pockets, right, in this neighborhood. Now, the next thing that we need to know is, remember, 3 numbers, ARV. What's the ARV on the property? So this property could potentially be sold for 172 to 190. Okay, so remember, the wholesaler is asking for 85. You need to add 100,000 on top of it. So far, it makes sense. Okay, ARV, it makes sense. So we can move on to the next step. Rehab is going to make sense to pay about 85,000 if the rehab is going to be between 30 to 45,000. Okay. If the rehab is more than that, it's a no deal. Very simple. Okay. So now we need to take a look at the property from the inside. Okay. So what we're going to do is launch the property. So here I'm going to get the link. Okay, right here. And then we are going to paste it right here. So let's take a look inside the property and see if it's worth it. So this is the property. Okay. So let's just go around. We can go around the property. So the things that you need to look at, we can walk the property, is when you look at the exterior, you need to look at the foundation, right? If you see any cracks, you know, that's a red flag. You need to look at the brick or the siding. You need to look at the roof. I'm mentioning high ticket items, okay? Then you need to go to the back. You need to see if there's a garage or not, if there's a basement on the property, because these are going to be the high ticket items, right? Foundation issues, siding or exterior issues, roof, garage. Those items are going to be way too high. And remember, our rehab shouldn't be over $45,000 for this to make sense. So if the property is very distressed, it's going to be a no deal. Okay, so let's walk the property from the outside. Okay, so just take a look at it. It's gated, it's very distressed. As you can see, the grass. You see no windows in the basement. So let me walk the alley right here. Okay, so what I want to look at is the exterior, right? So we're gonna look up. So it's brick, that looks pretty good. Now let's continue to walk through the alley and then let's go to the back. Okay, so it seems like it's solid brick, but the basement obviously is very questionable. Okay, so now we're going to the back. There's no garage, there's just a parking space, as you can see. So it's very rundown, okay? Now let's look at the building from behind. Okay, so let's just quickly go up. So you see no windows, it's all boarded up. So the window might be covered, but it seems like, you know, even the porch, okay, this is something very important. Since the collapse of the Chicago porch about 10 years ago, now the city is going to thoroughly inspect the decks, the porch, and this could be a $35,000 job, okay? If this porch is not up to code, this could be very, very risky, okay? So let me just quickly go up the stairs into the next floor. Okay, so the brick, I'm doing a close-up on the brick. As you can see, it needs a lot of work. You see this corner right here in the building? It needs a lot of work. It's more than tuck pointing, okay? You need bricks to be replaced right here, and this is just exterior. We might not have a window right here in the back. And you see the gutters. Gutters are missing, so that's just the fascia. So right here, no doors. The porch looks pretty old. So my suspicion is that this needs a lot of work. So now let's go inside the property. So what we're gonna do next is we are going to look at the inside of the property, okay? So right here, we took a look at the outside. Now let's go in the inside. Okay, so now this is the main door. We open up the door and then we're gonna walk the property. So it's extremely filthy, but disregard. So look at this, electric. You see that the electric box is missing right here in the outlets. So to me, that's a red flag, right? So it seems like we're gonna need to do a lot of electric work, okay? So the flooring, I mean, pretty much this is gonna be, this seems to be like a rehab. This is the first floor. So let's just go inside, walk inside the room. So that's the outside. Let's go back in. Okay, so to me, right off the bat, I'm very concerned about the exterior. Okay, let's go inside. Here, we're gonna walk the property inside. Here. Okay, we can even go up the stairs. Let's just go up the stairs into the next rooms. I wanna see what it looks. Let's go up the stairs. You see it needs quite a lot of work. All the stairs. And then I wanna take a look at the roof, okay? Because the roof is gonna be the ceiling. So there's So far, nothing in the ceiling. Let me go back to the floor. Okay, so just show you my pictures. Let me go back to the property. Whoa. It's like a trash can. It's like a dump in here. So just by quickly taking a look at the inside of this property, it needs a lot of work. You see all the outlets, all the electric, it's all missing. I'm just curious about the bathrooms, but I think it's gonna be the same. So it's fairly, this is a bathroom, I think, or maybe this is a kitchen. So it needs a lot of work. Pretty much, look at this, look at the condition of this property. No doors, no windows. You see it's extremely bad shape. So this is totally a go rehab. So I think it's gonna need a lot of work on the exterior, potentially most likely the roof, electric, plumbing, cleanup, look at the walls. So the rehab on this is going to be way over 100,000, okay? So I think we can easily conclude. I wanna see what your thoughts are on the chat, please. Just from the little that we've seen inside the property, I mean, it's a big dump. Tell me your thoughts. Deal, no deal. This rehab, just based on the exterior, the inside is going to be over 100,000. Okay. So what are your thoughts? No deal. Absolutely. Exactly. No deal. So I just wanted to show you exactly past no deal. Absolutely. So I want to make sure that this is so critical. When the neighborhood is not the best and you find a go rehab, please skip it all together. Just by looking at the outside, looking at the brick, the deck work, missing windows, doors, and then potentially roof, you need to assume that the roof needs work. Is just going to be way over 40,000, especially this is a two-story brick building. So it's going to be way over 100,000 to bring this up to code. So obviously you don't even need to see the property from the inside. So I just wanted to make you aware, this is a no deal, very, very simple, okay? So now, are there any other questions? Let me, oh, somebody says over 2,000. It could potentially be, okay, absolutely. So the numbers do not make sense, okay? Absolutely not, okay? ARV, the neighborhood is just not good. But, you know, we always look at properties in B, C, A neighborhoods. I wanted to show you something different, what it's like to be in a different neighborhood, okay? So now let's take a look at another deal. This is in much nicer neighborhood. So it's in Brookfield, okay? So this is the property address, Brookfield. So the first thing that we're gonna know is, remember, you need to understand the area. So what is Brookfield all about? So let me just copy the address, okay? So in here, we're gonna look into Brookfield. So for those of you who are not familiar with Brookfield, let's just quickly take a look. There's a question, could you have come to a no deal by just looking at the exterior? Absolutely, absolutely, Valerie. Absolutely, just by, even with the Google map, I could just walk the property, and if I see a lot of border up properties, there's no point in going into the property. Absolutely not, okay? So that is why, you know, when I was talking to an investor today, I asked the question, what is it that you look in a property to make sure that it's a deal or no deal? And he started telling me, well, I'm gonna start looking at the foundation, at the windows. So he started mentioning everything that there's in a property, right? It's good. However, that is not the first thing that you need to look at. Before even you look inside the property, don't waste your time. Look at the neighborhood. Does the neighborhood support your exit strategy? That's number one. Number two, location, location, location. Is this in a decent location? And then you look at the numbers, right? Even before going inside the property, they're asking for 100,000. It needs to price for 200,000, and the rehab needs to be under 40,000. If it doesn't meet those numbers, forget it, no deal. So having said that, absolutely, Valerie, you don't need to go inside the property. Another question is, Matterport. Somebody's asking, Matterport, is that something you subscribe to, or is this a function of the agent? So Matterport, it's a technology that allows you to do three-dimensional imaging, okay? Just like what you're looking at. This is a 3D dimensional imaging. And in fact, you can get a free account from Matterport, and you can do it with your iPhone, okay? It supports iPhones. So you can get screenshots 360 degrees for any room or multiple rooms, and then Matterport is going to create your virtual tour. And it is very inexpensive. Of course, you can have very fancy 360-degree cameras that you just sit in the middle of the room, and then it just rotates and then does all the pictures for you, which in turns, Matterport will turn that into a virtual tour, okay? So that's a side note, good question. So now let's look at Brookfield, okay? So for those of you who are not familiar, who's familiar with Brookfield? So we're gonna close this. Brookfield, okay, so we're gonna find out more about Brookfield, okay? If you're not familiar with Brookfield, it's a great area, by the way. So let's just quickly look at it. So this is the first thing that I like to look at, because you know we need to do this very quickly. Brookfield is the first one, right? So it's a B area. I like that. Cash flow, perfect. We want to do rentals. Livability, 79. That is huge. Remember, B areas start at 75. So if it's 79, the higher the better, okay? And then right here, I want to know the median rental income for a 3-bedroom is 1,500, and the sweet spot to buy a single-family home is 234, okay? So these are the 3 key numbers that you need to know. Median sales price for a single-family home, 230, and rents are lower than what you wanted to see them. Remember, the rule of thumb of the 1%, if you pay 234, guess what? You would need to collect 2,300 in rent. But we can look at a property on a case-by-case basis, right? Because the rents, this is the median for the entire Brookfield. We need to look at the rents for every single property. So the 1,500 is just a ballpark for the area. We're gonna be diving into the rents. So far, I like it. So now let's do a power search on the property in Brookfield. So right here, Brookfield. I'm gonna do a power search, and they're asking for 176,000, okay? So right here, it came up. So far, the area is good. So before even you look at the numbers, right? Location, location, location. So you want to zoom in, okay? So this property is on Grant. And guess what? Grant looks like a busy street, okay? So that's something to be aware of. The next thing that I want to do is a street view, okay? So how many lanes is this? Oh, okay, it's not too bad. I thought it was like a 4-lane street, but it's a 2-way street. It's not too bad. Okay, I was thinking that it was like a 4-lane street. It's a busy street. It's not ideal, but it's not a deal breaker. Okay, you see there's like an intersection right here. So far, that is the only drawback that I see in this property. Okay, now remember, location is good, neighborhood is good. Now this Brookfield is a good neighborhood for rentals. The question is, will Brookfield support flips? Let's find out so quickly, okay? So I'm gonna go back to the area reports. I'm gonna pull up the report, and I wanna know the months of housing supply. Okay, how quickly are we gonna run out of inventory in Brookfield? And how many properties are they selling a month? What's the absorption rate? So I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom so that we can look at the flip numbers right here. Okay, so detached, months of housing supply, 1.39. This is huge. Okay, guys, absolutely. This neighborhood is gonna support flips, because what this means is that it only takes about a month and a half before Brookfield runs out of properties for sale. So this is huge, okay? How many properties are they selling a month? 23. Okay, so how many properties are active for sale? 32. That's the problem. There's not enough inventory in Brookfield. So that is why people are jumping into it. How much should you pay for a property? We knew 234. And then how many flips? So not too many flips because nine flips. Okay, so that's not too bad. So it supports a flip and it supports the cash flow. So this is a good neighborhood, good property. So now it's time to take a deeper dive into the numbers. So before you look at numbers, you need to think in your head. They're asking for 176, okay? So the property needs to appraise for at least 250, okay? That's what it boils down, and then you need light to medium rehab. So now, right here, we say we see ARV about 200,000. So this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I'm gonna run the comps on the fly. I'm gonna show you how to do that, okay? Because we haven't done that in the past analysis. So 3-bedroom, 2-bath, all you need to do is just click on search because we are setting the defaults of one mile radius in the last 6 months. And then we got, boom, we got 3 comps, 195. I'm looking at the last column. These sold, the first one for 195, the second one for 210, the third one for 342. Whoa. So I see 2 outliers, right? So we need to further look into these. But look at these. List market time, 26, 82, 17. This pretty much directly correlates to what the area report was telling us. Properties are moving very fast. So it's a great place to do flips in Brookfield. Now, I'm really curious about these properties. So one is 200 and the other one is 342. They're both 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Let's take a look at the first one, right? Because this is critical, guys. We need to come up with an accurate ARV. So this sold in 26 days for 195. It was listed for 204. Let's take a look at the pictures. Just by looking at the first 2 pictures, this is very dated, okay? I think it even has paneling. So this is for sure no rehab. The bathroom looks nice. I mean, the tile, the flooring, the kitchen looks decent, but this is all dated, okay? Super dated. Even the light fixtures. The bathrooms look upgraded for sure. Mechanicals, they look good. So these sold for 200,000. I'm curious to look at the other one, Sunnyside Brookfield. These sold for 342 in 17 days. Okay, this must have all the bells and whistles, friends. So let's just quickly take a look at these pictures. Okay, so it's got a nice backyard, a deck. Whoa, look at this. It looks really nice. It looks staged. It's beautifully done. Very, very nice. So this is gonna have all the bells and whistles. It's that simple. Not only that, I'm sure this has like quartz and you know, the backsplash. So the kitchen is super, super nice. Light fixtures, staging, as you can see, makes a big difference. Kitchen cabinets. So this is very, very nice. And then it has a basement, okay? So that is very important to take into account, and this is the second floor. So this is fully rehab, okay? The other one is not. So it has a 2-car garage, full finished basement. So the other one didn't have a basement, okay? Now the question is, does the subject property have a basement, okay? So this is the subject property. Basement, no basement, okay? So the basement, you need to knock off at least 20 to 25,000, okay, from the ARV. This property, let's take a look at the subject property. It has some pictures. We're gonna look at the property from the inside. It looks not bad. It looks like a light to medium rehab. You see, this is the type of rehabs that we can take on, right? Because it doesn't need much. So the question is, what is the ARV on the property, okay? So right here, this is for sure, the 342, this has a basement and is fully rehabbed, okay? So we want an ARV for a property that is fully rehab, but without a basement. So we just need to knock off what the basement is. Now let's take a look at the next one, 239. Okay, I mean, this sold for 210. Let's take a look at this one. In 82 days, I just want to know if this is rehab. If this is rehab, it's a comp. If it's not, it's not a comp. So let's quickly take a look at this. Okay, this is a rehab for a rental. Okay, so nothing fancy. This is not fully rehabbed. As you can see the big difference, right? This is just perfect for a rental. Okay, but this rehab is not for a flip. Okay, so this is 1,400 square feet. So now the question is, what's a rehab? In this case, does this have a full finish, unfinished basement? Okay, so think about this. This property is not 100% rehab. So if this property was rehab for a flip, this would be worth about 240, 250. But keep in mind, this has a basement. Okay, so now let's go back to the subject property. Okay, this is the subject property. This property does not have a basement. So if a property that is being rehabbed with a basement and garage is worth about 240, then this property, the most is going to be worth, is going to be somewhere in the low 200s, like 210, 215 at the most, because it does not have a basement. Okay. So as you can see, they were trying to ask for almost full asking price of a rehab property, but this property is not. So that is why they couldn't sell it for 84 months. They took it off the market somehow, and this wholesaler got it on the contract. So they're trying to wholesale these for, again, 176. Okay. So now the ARV on this property is not 249. This would be accurate for a property with basement. So the ARV is going to be like 210. Okay. So now the question is, if we're going to pay 176, okay, just plug in the numbers in a calculator, because I want to make sure that you think super quick when you analyze the deals. Very simple. I'm going to give you the formulas. This property will appraise for no more than 220 once the rehab is done, a nice rehab. Now, we need to compute now how much we should pay for this property. If the property is worth 220, I'm going to give you the formula so that you come up with the max allowed offer. So multiply this times 70. It's 154 minus the rehab. Okay, so even if we spent maybe 10, 15,000, right? So the most we should pay is 140 in this property. The wholesaler is asking for 176. So now let's take a look at the inside. Okay, even though you've seen the pictures, let's quickly dive into the house from the inside. So right here, perfect. Okay, so that's the property from the inside. So remember, it has no basement. So let's walk the property very quickly. So this property obviously is worth going inside. So as you can see, the kitchen, if you wanted to, I mean, this is just okay for rental. You may need to change the countertop and then do the backsplash and the appliances. They need to be cleaned, but for a rental, and then the floor, you see the floor. The good thing is this is hardwood floor, so you can refinish these, so that's a good thing. So let's just quickly walk the property. Okay, so this is the mechanicals, right? So the water heater and the furnace, I think they look fine. They don't look new, but they look okay. So this is like the laundry area. Yeah, this is okay. Let's see if it has washer and dryer. Okay, so now let's come out of go back to towards the kitchen. and walk the property. So I just did a close-up on the windows because that is something that we need to keep in mind, that you have good windows, because otherwise, you know, it could be expensive. It's about $300 each window, labor and material. Okay, so let's walk the property. I lost my screen. Let's make it bigger. Okay. So the floor, so we are going into the living room now. Okay, so let's walk inside the living room. Okay, so it has paneling, and look at this. It has a wall unit right here. So, which tells you that it doesn't have central air, okay? People don't like wall units. I mean, this is dated. It looked much better in the pictures, to tell you the truth. Right here. Okay, so this is a very old heating system. Now let's take a look at the bathroom. So mechanicals, you're gonna need to put some money. The bathroom, it's okay. It's not too bad. So the vanity is very nice. They don't tile, so the bathroom is pretty nice. It's okay. So for a rental is just fine. Now let's walk over to another room. So let me move this. Okay, here. Minimize this. Perfect. So right here, I want to see again the rooms where we are. Okay, so did we take a look at the living room? This is the living room. This is the bathroom. We took a look at the kitchen. This is the boiler room. Now, there's another bedroom right here. So let's go inside this bedroom. We haven't been to this bedroom. So the flooring is good. Let's just, the closet, doors, the windows, I think they're fine. So these are good sized bedrooms. So the property is in nice shape. It doesn't need a ton of work. So it has 2 bathrooms. So we've seen one. Let's take a look at this. So this is the other bedroom. So you see the vent on the floor. That means that this is for the heat. That's the supply for the heat. So this doesn't have a basement, but it has a crawl space. This bedroom looks a little bit small, okay? But it's in good shape. And then you want to focus on 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and this is one of them. Okay, so we took a look at this one. Let's see what else we're missing from the layout. So there's this bedroom that is small. Okay, so we were in the kitchen. We walked the living room. This is the bathroom. I want to see where the other bathroom is. So this must be the other bathroom. Yeah, let's take a look at this one. So it seems like they updated the bathrooms. So the bathrooms look pretty nice. So you don't need to do much work on the bathrooms, which is good. Let's take a look again at the picture. I want to make sure that we've walked everything. So we walked through this room, that room. So there are 3 bedrooms, 1, 2, 3 bedrooms. This is a pretty big one. So I think, what is this? Uh-oh, you see there's like a wall open. There may be some plumbing issues right there. So I'm trying to figure out what this room is. This is facing, oh, that's the living area. That's the living area. So this is the main room when you enter the house, okay? And this should lead into the kitchen. So if we go right here, yeah, this is the kitchen. We go into the kitchen, okay? So one of the things that I'm gonna show you this, maybe you're gonna be able to see this from the top. The new style that people like of homes is open space, right? Right here, you have rooms. Everything is just rooms. Let me show you. Everything is rooms. You don't have, looking at the property from the outside, I mean from the top, this is all squares, right? So you don't have open spaces, which is sort of like a drawback. So right here, when you enter the house, in this room that I'm highlighting right here, the kitchen cabinets are behind the wall, right? So you cannot have open space, which is a drawback right here. So this is the living area, this is the kitchen, and then you have the living space. Again, you have, everything is divided by walls. Everything is divided by walls. So the layout is kind of quirky and too many rooms. You see what I mean? So this big room is it's sort of like a living area. This is like the dining. As soon as you enter, this is like the dining, which is outside of the kitchen, okay? And then you have 3 small bedrooms, okay, and 2 baths. So the layout is okay. The only thing that I don't like about this layout is the fact that it's all, I'm gonna circle this so you can see better. So this is when you enter the house, you see this room, right? And when you see the wall broken up, and then you can enter the kitchen to the right, and then to the left, you go into the bedrooms. And this is a very small bedroom, the first one to the left, another one. So overall, I think the layout is just okay. It's, for rental is fine, guys. The key is we need to pay the right price for it. That is absolutely the secret, to pay the right price for this property. So again, I think, what do you guys say? Based on what we came up with the ARV, like 220, 230 for this property, but they're asking for 176. So let me go back to DealVault. Do we have enough meat in the bone to do anything with this property? I want to know your comments. What are your thoughts? What are your comments? Is this a deal? No deal. So I want to look at the chat. What you guys say? No, absolutely. Valerie, yeah, no deal. Absolutely. Good job, John. Everyone, good job. That's what I want. That's what I expect from all of you guys. Just very quickly, no deal. Why? Because there's not enough meat in the bone. It's overpriced. I mean, just go by the numbers that I told you. That rule of thumb where you add 75,000 to 100,000, it is just amazing. It works like a champ. So if they're asking for 175, I want the ARV to be 275. That's simple. And if it's not the case, if it's only 230, 240, because it doesn't have a basement and the layout is kind of quirky, too many rooms, okay, no open spaces. We need to update everything except the bathroom. So the rehab on this is going to be close to 35 at least. My concern on this property is that it doesn't have central air. Okay, so it has wall units for the AC. So eventually, if you want to do a flip on this property, guess what? You need to spend a little bit of money on adding the condenser to remove the wall units. So it's a no deal to me. Okay, so that's what I want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable analyzing deals. So I'm going to show you, for instance, properties that we bought in the past so that you can see the profit spreads, okay, and the neighborhood. So now let's analyze one that for us was a deal, right? So we did the no deal, yes deal. So let me pull up the property. It's 54. Oh my goodness, 5423, no, 5433 West 23rd. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so we're gonna do very quick analysis. Now we are the pros, right? So yeah, this is the property. Let me see if this is the property. Let me move some screens. Yeah. So let me show you the property. Which one is the property? Oh, this one right here. So let me zoom in so you can see that. Is this brick property, brick building, brick house, bungalow. So the question is, oh, there's another question. If you could negotiate it down to 115, would the Brookfield deal work? Absolutely, absolutely. Great point, Valerie. But it was for sale for 199, okay? It lasted in the market 84 days, and then it went off the market. A wholesaler snatched it from the owner, and they want to sell it for 76. So there's no way they're gonna sell it for 115. So it's a no-go, okay? Very simple. So now let's analyze this property like the pros, friends. So I'm gonna tell you how quickly you need to analyze these deals. So this is a property. So the first thing that you need to look at is, remember, the neighborhood. Will the neighborhood support your exit strategy? And I hope that everyone's exit strategy is buy and hold. Please don't flip right now. And then you can always do wholesales in your strategy. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is, I wanna know more about Cicero, okay? So what's Cicero all about? Will Cicero support my exit strategy? We're gonna analyze this deal, guys, in 2 minutes, okay? I'm just telling you. So Cicero, it's a C area. It's good for flips. Livability score, 72. So it's good. Anything over 75, it's good. This is in the borderline. So this dropped to a C. So this is a C plus, okay? Because the 75 mark determines a B market. This is 72 livability score. So this is a C plus. It's in the borderline with a B area. So I wanna know how much is the sweet spot to buy a single family home. It's 137 right here. Sweet spot to buy detached, 137. What are the rents? Rents seem low, 1150. So I'm a little bit concerned about the rentals, but this is just the overall market. So they support flips, and then rental is questionable, but I just wanted to know the area in a nutshell. It's a C plus, okay? It's good. We're gonna invest in BC areas. Now, the property. First of all, okay, it looks good. I like bricks. How many bedrooms and baths? 6 baths, 6 bedrooms, 2 baths. I like that. Now, the next thing is location, location, location. I don't care about the numbers unless I look at the location. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is look at the map. Is this near train tracks, busy streets? No, it's right inside all the streets. I'm gonna do the street view. It looks just fine, okay? So now the next thing is, I wanna know how much is this property for sale? The bank took it for 135, and indeed, that was how much we bought it for. So 135, well, if it's for sale for 135, to me, this property needs to appraise 100,000 more. So how much should the ARV be at 100,000? So it's gotta be 235. I look at the ARV, 212 to 233. And indeed, this property appraised for 235, okay? So far, location good, neighborhood good, ARV good. The next thing is rehab, okay? How much is the rehab? Remember, it's gotta be below 35, 40,000 for this to make sense, okay? So we found 2 listings, right? One is the foreclosure listing, and the other one is the MLS listing. This listing happened in 2016. So it's like 3-4 years ago. Let's quickly take a look at the pictures. It looks astonishing, right? So they tried to they did a flip on this property. They did all the bells and whistles. So in your head, what's the wear and tear in the last 3-4 years on this property? It couldn't be much, right? They did all the bells and whistles on the property. So my assumption would be that this property is not a good rehab. I think this fits the light to medium rehab, just without seeing the property from the inside. The next thing is how much we should pay for the property. I go into DealVault, max allowed offer. The most for a flip should be 133. For a rental, 155. We want to keep it for a rental. In fact, this property is rented, okay? So even if you're going to do a rental, you need to pay the flip price. So DealVault is telling me you should pay 133. If we're buying it from the bank for 135, what do you think, guys? And then the rent, right? I was a little bit concerned on the analysis that the rent was going to be only $11.50 for a 3-bedroom. So this property is a little bit bigger. All you need to do is scroll down to the rental calculator, and the rent is $15.50. Okay, so it's pretty good. So remember the rule of the 1%. So if you buy it for 135, and in fact we put 15,000 into it, it didn't need much work. So all in is 150. What's 1% of 150? you've got to rent these for 1,500. DealVault is telling me that we should rent it for no less than 1,550. In fact, we rented this property for 1,770 in less than a month, okay? We always ask for above market rates. Why? Because this property had all the bells and whistles done by the previous flipper, okay? So even they did the crown molding, everything, all the whole 9 yards, the whole enchilada. So guys, just looking at this property, is this a deal or no deal to buy it for 135 based on what you saw? Deal. Good job, Valerie. Anybody else? Anybody else? John? Yes. Yeah, of course. Exactly. So friends, perfect. Jeff? Yes, Mark. Awesome. Awesome. This is how simple it is to find great deals. I mean, you don't need to spend hours. Oh, is this a great deal? No, not a great deal. It should come natural. Think about this. You know, when you meet somebody, you immediately know whether you have chemistry with that individual, okay? Whether you like them or not. It's the same with property analysis. You should feel 100% comfortable with it, okay? So in this case, it took us no more than 3 minutes to analyze the entire property, okay? It is that simple. So everything just makes sense. Neighborhood supports your exit strategy. Then we need to look at the analysis, 3 numbers. ARV is 100,000 on top of the asking price. The rehab, it's very minimum because they did all the bells and whistles 3-4 years ago. And then the max allowed offer for a flip should be 133. That's exactly how much we're paying, 135. And then location, right? It's nowhere near busy streets, cemeteries, train tracks, and so forth. So obviously, this is a great deal. Let me tell you, when we got the property on the contract, I never saw the property from the inside. The way we did it is, I did exactly what I just showed you. I called our runner and I said, hey, tutor, please go check out this property, see if it's by any chance open a window, something. I need to see the condition from the inside. He was able to do FaceTime from the windows, and he told me, Hugo, this doesn't need much work. It looks pretty nice. The kitchen looks really nice. That was good enough. Then we got on the contract. So I never went to see the property from the inside because everything made sense, right? All the numbers. I just wanted to make sure that the property was not vandalized, that the property was not occupied, so that it would not block funding. Okay, friends, so I just wanted to show you how easy it is to do deal, no deal analysis. But remember, let's just quickly summarize. Before you go inside the property, that is probably one of the last things that you need to do. The first thing that you need to do is think about your exit strategy and whether the neighborhood supports that. Second of all, look at the location of the property. If it's in a good location, meaning no busy street, no roads, no cemetery, no rivers, no train tracks, then look at the numbers, okay? Does the ARV have about 100,000 spread from the asking price? Is the rehab light to medium, meaning less than 40,000? And the max allowed offer shown on DealVault is exactly what they're selling the property for. If everything says yes, then you've got to get it on the contract. It is that simple, friends. So please, if things you don't feel comfortable, no deal, okay? Real estate is it could be a very risky business if you make a mistake, right? So please, you've got to feel so comfortable, just like this deal that I show you, okay? Everything needs to check. Yes, 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 yes. If there's a no, guess what? I'm so sorry, but I think you need to skip it because I want to make sure that you don't lose money. I want to make sure that this is profitable for you. And to be profitable in real estate, you have to find great deals with great equity and enough meat in the bone for you to do a flip, a rental, or do a wholesale. Are there any questions on the line, friends? So we had a great crowd today. We spent just 1 hour analyzing deals. Okay, so Valerie, the three numbers that you need to know: ARV, okay, after repair value, and that needs to be 100,000 more of what you're gonna pay for the other property, okay, with the assumption that also the rehab is light to medium, no more than 40,000, okay? That means that you're updating the flooring, the kitchen, the bathroom, light fixtures, paint. You are not putting a new roof, putting new windows, touching foundation, doing a new mechanical system like HVAC. You're not putting a new plumbing system or electric system. You're not doing none of that, okay? Light to medium, we're investors, okay? We're not a construction company. We just need to come in and out very quickly, 4 to 6 weeks on the rehab max, okay? Unless you have a construction background and you have a construction company, then you can afford to take bigger jobs. Otherwise, please stick to light to medium rehabs. And then the third number is that you shouldn't overpay for the property. So based on your exit strategy, you either pay the flip price, rental price, or wholesale. Even if you are going to keep it for a rental, please strive to pay the flip price so you have the flip exit strategy available to you. Because if you change your mind and you say, well, you know what, I don't want to keep it for a rental, I just want to release some cash that I have stuck on it, or I just need to sell it for whatever reason, then you can flip it. Does that make sense? So please keep that in mind. Those are the three numbers that you need to know when analyzing the deal. But again, above the analysis, what supersedes the analysis is the location, okay? Because even if the numbers work great, if the property is almost on top of the highway or near the train tracks or by the airport, the runway, then the property value is just gonna drop tremendously. Okay, the marketability is going to drop tremendously. You won't be able to sell it quick. So location is so critical, friends. And please, please understand the markets you are investing in. They need to support your flipping or rental exit strategy. Because if you want to do flips, please don't invest in a rental market or vice versa. Okay, there are rental markets, there are flip markets that you need to invest in. So friends, are there any other questions on the line? I just want to make sure that you join our upcoming webinars. So we have really amazing events coming up. So on Sunday, we're going to be talking about funding. We're going to bring a Harmony lender, conventional lender. Next week, we're going to be talking about the foreclosure process. And then on Wednesday, we are going to be talking about small business administration loans grants for COVID-19. So we have a guest speaker, Gina Diaz is going to be our speaker. And then on Thursday, we have another virtual live tour in Wooddale. That's going to be really cool. And then the most exciting event, the bootcamp. Please make sure that you RSVP for the bootcamp. This is the link. We already have 144 RSVPs as of this morning, 144. So we're going to have a great crowd. I'm going to give it all to you on that day. Please make sure that you RSVP. And if you don't have access to DealVault, ChicagoDealVault, get it free. Okay, all you need to do is put in a promo code and then fill out this form. So fill out this form. I'm going to copy this form, and then for the package, select Special ChicagoDealVault, which is this dropdown. And then for the promo code, it's going to be virtual, okay? So promo code is virtual. So please make sure you get it for free. You need to have access to DealVault before the bootcamp, because I want to make sure that you get the most out of the bootcamp. We've been working, my team and I, on the presentation for that bootcamp. I'm super excited. It's going to be so awesome. This is the first time we're running a complete bootcamp where we're going to give you fundamentals. We're gonna talk about wholesaling, fix and flip, rentals, and we're gonna do speed networking. I'm gonna give you a mental break every 18 minutes. That's how TED Talks do it, so we don't burn your cells. And you're gonna be paired up with another investor for you to network for a couple of minutes. So we're gonna be doing breaks every 18 minutes, okay? So that you remain engaged, active, and ready to learn. So please make sure that you do have access to DealVault, because I'm gonna be going back and forth, showing some numbers, some statistics. So I wanna make sure that all of you are already trained on DealVault before you join the bootcamp, because I wanna make sure that you get the most of it, okay? I don't want you to get 50%, 70%. I wanna make sure that you get 100% of everything we're gonna give you, because everything we're gonna give you is gonna be the blueprint of financial freedom. Not only financial freedom, but also freedom of time for you to do anything that you like, that you never ever miss a single highlight of your loved ones again. That is my objective. Are there any other questions on the line, friends? So please make sure that you RSVP. By the way, we have already fixed the issue of the DealVault App Academy. So text 818-818, the keyword DealVault, and then download it. It has over 100 training videos in a sequential manner. Valerie, virtual live tours are awesome for understanding the process. Thanks so much. Oh, my pleasure, Valerie. We're gonna keep on doing at least one property tour every week. So next week, we're gonna look at a property in Wooddale, which is a great neighborhood. So stay tuned for that. So we're pushing very, very hard, friends, because there's gonna be a huge opportunity down the road. I mean, I'm talking about the near future, okay? I wanna make sure that all of you are ready. That is why we're running 4 webinars a week, because by the time things open in Illinois, you're gonna be ready to pull the trigger, okay? I wanna make sure that you have the training, technology, knowledge, also access to preferred partners. I wanna make sure that you partner up with somebody. So that is why we're running these big events with speed networking, because you cannot make it alone in this business. You need to work with like-minded people, and also people who have more than you do: experience, money, talent, credit, etc. So thank you everyone for joining today. Have a great evening. If you don't have any more, I'm gonna stay in the line for the next few minutes to answer any questions, help you sign up. Please RSVP for the events. You're gonna get a confirmation. And I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Okay, we're gonna be talking about funding, money, okay? So please stay tuned. So thank you everyone for joining.